Your body has been telling you when you are fertile. Here's how to read it. Most women spend years tracking their cycle with an app and still have no idea what their body is actually doing. Today, that will change. I created a free cycle tracking worksheet for this video, designed around the 3 methods we cover today, so you can start applying this to your own cycle immediately. Download it from the link below. I am Dr. Handan Namlı, obstetric gynecology and fertility specialist. I have been working with women on their fertility for 25 years and I have helped over 10,000 patients understand their bodies and make better decisions. I help you do the same, step by step with clarity. If you want a structured, science-based fertility roadmap, you can join my Fertility Master Circle. The link is below. It is free to join. In this video, I'm going to walk you through all 4 phases of your cycle. What is happening in your body and what you are likely to feel, and later I will show you a biological signals your body produces every month that tells you your fertile window is open in real time. No device required. Most women have never been taught to read it. But first, let's start from day 1. Menstruation. What is actually happening on day 1? The day your period starts, your body is already preparing the next act. Most people think menstruation is an ending. It is not. It is a beginning and ending happening at the same time. Here's what is going on inside your body on day 1. Progesterone and estradiol, the 2 main hormones of your cycle, drop sharply. That drop is what triggers your period. Your uterus releases chemicals called prostaglandins. Those prostaglandins cause the uterine muscle contract and the lining sheds. That is where cramps come from. They are prostaglandin driven. They are real, they are biological, and they vary widely between people. At the exact same time, a hormone called FSH begins to rise quietly. FSH stands for follicle stimulating hormone. It is the signal that starts recruiting your next group of follicles, which are the small fluid-filled sacs in your ovaries, each one containing a potential egg. So on day 1, while you are having your period, your body has already moved on the building the next cycle. One more thing about period pain, because this matters. Mild to moderate cramping on day 1 and day 2 is a normal biological event. But pain that is severe enough to stop you working or going to school, pain does not respond to standard painkillers, or pain that gets worse cycle after cycle, that is not normal variation. That is a clinical signal. In 25 years of practice, one of the things I see most often in women who have been living with severe pain, period pain, for years, sometimes a decade, before anyone investigated. They were told it was normal. It was not. Research by Zondevan and colleagues published in the Nature Reviews Disease Primers in 2018 found that the average diagnostic delay for endometriosis is 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years, very long time. In large part of because severe pain is so often normalized. Severity of period pain is not a measure of how taught you are. It is a medical data point. The follicular phase, your body's rising season. The follicular phase is the most underrated part of your cycle, and it's also where your fertile window is built. After menstruation ends, roughly from day 5 onward, FSH stimulates a group of follicles to grow. One of them becomes dominant. That dominant follicle starts producing increasing amounts of estradiol. Estradiol is the hormone that drives almost everything you experience in the first half of your cycle. Your endometrium, which is the lining of the uterus, starts thickening. Early in this phase, it is about 2 to 4 millimeters thick. By the time ovulation approaches, it can reach 8 to 12 millimeters or more. This thickening is visible on ultrasound, is one of the things your doctor is looking at during fertility monitoring. What do you feel during this phase? Rising energy, better mood, more motivation, clearer thinking. This is not a coincidence. It is estradiol. Research by Bart and colleagues published in Frontiers in Neuroscience in 2015 showed that estradiol modulates serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, the neurotransmitter systems that directly affect how you feel, how you think, and how you engage with the world. Your cycle is not just a reproductive event. It is a whole body physiological phenomenon. And coming up, I want to show you that biological sign I mentioned at the start. The one your body has been producing every single cycle. It is the most direct window into your fertile window that exists. No app can replicate it. Cervical mucus, the fertile window signal your body has always given you. Cervical mucus is not just discharge. It is biological, active, hormonally controlled, and it is the most direct signal your body gives you about where you are in your cycle. Here's how it works. Glands in your cervix produce mucus, and that production is directly controlled by estradiol. As estradiol rises across the follicular phase, your cervical mucus changes in a predictable pattern. Early in the phase, roughly days 1 to 7, there is a little or no discharge. The cervix is firm. This is the dry phase. Around days 7 to 10, mucus becomes visible and is sticky, crumbly in texture. At this stage, it actually forms a barrier to sperm. As you approach ovulation, roughly days 10 to 14, the mucus becomes clear, slippery, and stretchy. Peak fertile mucus looks like a raw egg white. You can stretch it between your fingers for several centimeters. That is not just a visual clue. It is biologically active. Peak fertile mucus creates channels that allow sperm to swim efficiently towards the egg, and it extends sperm survival from a matter of hours in a non-fertile condition to up to 5 days. That is why your fertile window exists, not just because of when you ovulate, because of the mucus that makes it possible for sperm to survive long enough to be there when you do. This was documented by Weigel and colleagues in the Nature Quarterly in 2022. This is the sign your body has been producing every cycle. You just may not have to know when it means. The ovulatory phase. 36 hours that change everything. Ovulation is not a day. It's a window of approximately 12 to 36 hours, and most people are trying to time it wrong. Here's what happens. Your dominant follicle has grown to roughly 18 to 24 millimeters. Estradiol has been elevated for 36 to 48 hours. That triggers the pituitary gland to release what is called the LH surge. LH stands for luteinizing hormone. The LH surge triggers the final maturation of the egg and sets off hormonal cascade that leads to follicle rupture and egg release. Approximately 24 to 36 hours after the surge begins. Your cervix also changes at this point. It rises higher in the vaginal canal, becomes softer, and cervical opening widens slightly. These are detectable changes, and some fertility awareness methods include them. Some women feel ovulation. It calls Mittelschmerz, from the German for middle pain. It's the middle one-sided ache or brief sharp sensation in the lower abdomen caused by the follicle rupturing. Mild and brief Mittelschmerz is common and harmless, but severe one-sided pain that radiates or lasts more than a few hours, or pain with nausea, vomiting, or fever should not be attributed to ovulation without assessment. This was noted by Broad and Lee in the Stud Pearls updated 2023. And here's what happens to mucus right after ovulation. Within approximately 24 hours, progesterone causes your cervical mucus to become thick, sticky, and impenetrable to sperm. The transition from clear, stretchy mucus to dry, sticky mucus is one of the most reliable signs that ovulation has already occurred. The fertile window is closed. The luteal phase. Progesterone takes over. The second half of your cycle is governed by a completely different hormone, and what happens in this phase determines whether implantation is even possible. After ovulation, the follicle that releases the egg does not disappear. It transforms into a temporary structure called the corpus luteum, which means yellow body in Latin. The corpus luteum becomes a small gland, and its main job is to produce progesterone. Progesterone makes the second half of your cycle fundamentally different from the first. Your endometrium, which was building and thickening under estradiol, now transforms. Under progesterone stimulation, the endometrial glands start producing a nutrient-rich secretion. The lining shifts from a structured design for growth to structured design for receive and support an embryo. This is the secretory phase of the endometrium. The luteal phase typically lasts 12 to 14 days. It is the most stable part of the cycle. I sit with patients regularly who bring in their BBT chart and their cycle history, and one of the first things I look at this luteal phase length. If it is consistently shorter than 10 days, that is clinically significant. It may reflect what is called luteal phase deficiency, and it has implication for implantation and early pregnancy maintenance. This is noted in the ASRM Practice Committee guidelines from 2021. If you are trying to conceive and your luteal phase is short, this is worth raising with your doctor, not something to wait on. The implantation window and BBT. Two things most people get wrong. Did you know that your embryo does not implant on ovulation day? It takes almost a week to even arrive. After fertilization, a dividing embryo travels through the fallopian tube for approximately 5 to 6 days before reaching the uterine cavity as a blastocyst. Implantation into the endometrial lining then occurs approximately 6 to 10 days after ovulation. This is called the window of implantation. During this window, the endometrium expresses specific surface molecules that allow the blastocyst to adhere and penetrate the lining. Outside this window, the same endometrium is not receptive. This is why embryo transfer timing in IVF is calibrated so precisely, and why some implantation failures are related not to embryo quality but to endometrial timing. This was documented by Cha and colleagues in Cell reports in 2022. Now, basal body temperature charting. Let me clear up the biggest misunderstanding about this method. BBT charting does not predict ovulation. It confirms that ovulation has already happened. Here is why. Progesterone has a thermogenic effect. It raises your resting body temperature by approximately 0.2 to 0.4 degrees Celsius above your personal baseline. That rise is detectable and sustained for the entire luteal phase. So, when you see a temperature rise on your chart, ovulation has already occurred. You are looking backward, not forward. What BBT charting is genuinely useful for? Confirming ovulation happened, identifying approximately when it occurred in the previous cycle, and revealing how long your luteal phase is across multiple cycles. Combined with cervical mucus observation and LH testing, BBT gives you a complete picture. This is supported by Su and colleagues in the European Journal of Obstetric Gynecology and Reproductive Biology 2017. No single method gives you everything, but together they come close. When symptoms are signal, not just part of your cycle. Period pain is normal. You just have to push through it. That is one of the most harmful things we tell women about their bodies. Here is the distinction that matters. Mild cramping on day 1 and 2, normal. Breast tenderness in the week before your period, normal. A brief one-sided ache at ovulation, normal. Clear slippery discharge approaching ovulation, normal and important. Slightly elevated temperature in the luteal phase, normal. Mild mood changes across the cycle, normal. These are hormonally driven features of their phase. They have explanation. They are expected. Now, here's when symptoms cross a different line. Pain severe enough to stop you from working or going to school. Pain that does not respond to standard painkillers. Pain that gets worse over time. That is a clinical signal. Endometriosis affects approximately 10% of women of reproductive age and is frequently underdiagnosed because pain is normalized. Bleeding between periods, any amount. that deserve evaluation. Spotting for more than 1-2 days before your period begins that can indicate a short luteal phase or low progesterone, and it is relevant if you are trying to conceive. Premenstrual symptoms that regularly disrupt your work, your relationship, or your daily life that may meet the criteria of PMDD, which stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. PMDD is not a more intense version of PMS. It's a recognized and treatable medical condition in which the hormonal changes of the luteal phase trigger severe mood symptoms, depression, anxiety, or irritability significant enough to impair daily function. If this resonates, please name it to your doctor. It is diagnosable and it is treatable. Echo committee opinion: no detectable temperature rise across multiple cycles on BBT charting that may indicate anovulation, meaning cycles where ovulation did not actually occur. It is more common than people realize. It warrants ovulation. A consistently very short luteal phase, fewer than 10 days. That may reflect luteal phase deficiency, which means the second half of the cycle is not long enough to support implantation properly. It has implication for early pregnancy maintenance and is worth raising with a specialist. I want to close this section by saying something clearly. Your symptoms are data. They are your body's communicating. Learning to read them is not about finding things to worry about. It is about having the information you need to ask better questions and get better care. That is the whole point of what we are doing here. If you have not downloaded the free worksheet yet, now is a good time. It is cycle tracking template built around the 3 methods we covered today: cervical mucus, LH testing, and BBT. 2 to 3 cycles of the consistent observation with this tool will give you a personal picture that is more clinically useful than any app prediction. The link is below. If you want a structured, science-based fertility roadmap, you can join my Fertility Master Circle. It's a free community where we go through this material together, step by step, in a way that actually makes sense for your life. You do not have to piece this together alone from random searches at midnight. The link is below. Come find us. What is one thing about your cycle you have never had properly explained? Tell me in the comments. I read them and your question may become the next video.